Welcome everyone to another edition of Saturday Cup of Joe. It's been a while since I've said that. Wow, I think we've been gone for at least 2 weeks. We took a break for the holiday, but today we have some amazing things that we're going to share with you, and we have a very lovely, awesome speaker, impact trainer, monetize your words, and we're going to get to her in just a second. But let's bring Bill on just for a quick moment. Bill, show the world what's going on today. Notice I said show the world.
Good morning, Cup of Joe.
Bill is up and ready to rock and roll. I mean, literally, he is ready, and he just got up. So, you know,
Got
he
my
must have
drink. I'm ready to go. No?
First of all, I want to thank all of you who are watching, and we're so blessed and grateful to have you in our groups, and we know that you're having a fabulous 2015, and I just keep continuing to pray for all you guys and wanting you to just believe in yourself this year and go for it. You know, we get ourselves in positions where we're uncomfortable. That is a true sign that you are almost that close. So continue to do what you're doing, and hopefully the speakers and the guests that we have on these editions of Cup of Joes are going to help you and bless your life, because, you know, sometimes people will say just that little thing that's going to change it and turn it around for you. I know this has happened for me for a while, so I just hope you're sticking with these, and we're loving the feedback we're getting back from the Cup of Joe series. We got lots of emails. People are saying, man, what are y'all doing? Y'all not having Cup of Joe this week? And I'm like, yeah, you know. So anyway, we like to bring on a very dynamic person here. She is awesome. Her name is Cindy Ashton. I've been watching her for like a week now. Normally, I guess I try to follow and figure out who they are. She is just like me. She's a nut. She's full of power. She's full of excitement. But this lady has a lot to offer. And guys, today I really want you to sit back and pay attention to what she has to say, because you know what? This is something that might just totally change your life, and especially those who are trying to, you know, and use your words when it comes to talking to other people. Because I know for myself, had I not had a chance to come out of my shell and be in front of big-time business owners, I would never, ever be in a position I am right now. And this lady, I could tell, does not care who she's with or who she's around or what she does, because she sings, she dances, she knows how to speak professionally. She inspires me already. I've been watching you, by the way. Come on, Cindy. Push the mute button, lady. Bring it on, Cindy. Let's see, where are you? Come on. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Good morning. So glad to see you this morning. And it's 7 a.m. here in California. So I'm awake, bushy-eyed and awake for all of you. Thank you for having me on the show, guys.
That is so awesome. 7 a.m. And, you know, I complained about it being like 9 o'clock here in Dallas. But, wow, no more complaining. 7 a.m. How are you doing today, Cindy?
I'm doing great. My spirit's good. My body is still kind of, you know, waking up, so I might be stretching and, you know.
Awesome.
Hey, at least I managed to brush the hair this morning. That's a miracle.
Right. Hey, sometimes we got to present it in the way we are. You know what I mean? If you can't be yourself.
Who you are.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Don't be yourself. You know what I mean? So, Cindy, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know, not your business, yourself. Tell us who you are.
Who am I? Well, who am I? So I'm a highly spirited, deeply passionate person. I'm very fierce, and I go after what I want. I have a really, really big heart. I feel other people's pain so deeply, and I'm one of those people that just loves to help other people. But I think there's a lot of good people like that out there that really want to make a difference in the world. But yeah, so I'm sexy, I'm sassy, I'm saucy, I'm vivacious. I love to take the stage. I love to interact. I love to rollerblade and hike. I feel like I'm on like a dating profile here. Cindy Ashton, 39 years old, lives in New York City. She loves to rollerblade, take long walks on the beach,
sassy.
and hike up mountains. So I feel like that was like, there's my dating profile.
Oh my goodness, that is.
You can't handle or block the other way.
Right. Now, you know what? I was watching a few of your videos, and you remind me of me because I do a lot of video series, and it doesn't matter where I'm at. I'm just going. But I saw you right there of New York, baby. You were in New York, and you're just singing, you're just talking, and blah, blah. People are walking by like, what? You know, Bill and I went to New York last year, and we know how it is, but you were just going and going. I was like, oh, my goodness. She does not care. I love it.
I think that we just live with too many rules on ourselves about I've got to be this way, I've got to act like this, I've got to eat like this, I've got to hold the fort like this, I have to do this kind of career because my parents did this, and I'm like, I'm just going to be myself because I'd rather be happy than be accepted.
Exactly.
Right. So you have a series it's all about Speak, Impact, and Monetize. And
Right.
It's a conference that you do around the world, and you travel quite a bit, hey?
Yeah, probably too much. I was traveling now. It's so crazy. In fall, there was a period where it was like over 12 days. I did 9 different talks in like 3 different cities in 2 different countries. And I was like, okay, I love what I do, but I need a little less travel.
Right, right. So tell us how you came about all this. I mean, what started this? What's this when you're coaching and you're speaking? How did this come about?
Oh boy, I'm not sure which story to tell you. There's a lot of things. Well, I mean, the first thing is, as a fetus, I was, swimming in my mom's belly.
Right.
In my mom's belly, and so I was swimming around, and I was like sporting jazz hands, and I knew that I was always meant to be a performer, and so I've always known I meant to be on stage. That just was a given. People are like, "When did you start speaking and singing?" And I'm like, "When I was a fetus."
Right.
I mean, it's just something that you have, and you just know that it's your calling. So, in terms of when I started this, when I finished university, I actually I went to teachers college, and I hated teachers college because I was being told that I was too creative with the children. And sorry, morning, waking up, voice. And so I was like, this is crazy. So I ended up quitting teaching, and I saw a job posting for an educational consultant for somebody who can teach teachers how to teach. And I'm like, well, this is better. So I ended up going into educational consulting, and I was still performing. So I had 2 jobs. I was an educational consultant teaching teachers how to use singing, dancing, acting in the classroom with math and science to be able to teach all types of learners in a classroom. Because we've got 9 different types of intelligences, and we all learn in different ways, right? And most of our children, we label them as ADD and stupid, when really we're just not teaching them in a way that speaks to them and helps them to learn. We're not teaching according to their learning style. So that was much better than making the $30,000 or $40,000 a year as a teacher, because I was now making $120 an hour as a consultant.
Right.
Teaching, I really believed, was the better way to teach. And so I started out teaching presentation skills and how to deliver content to teachers while I was still singing, lots of concerts and doing all this singing stuff. I was doing both careers. And then it ended up evolving that I started getting hired by wellness and corporate. And then I ended up moving to California in my 30s and was doing the whole speaker circuit here. And so it really ended up becoming a meshed type of thing. But in terms of the actual, good morning, I'm on TV right now. So I'm staying in California with my friend, and I forgot to tell him last night that I'm going to be on TV across the world. No, it's totally my fault that I forgot to tell you that when you come down, I'm going to be on TV for live streaming.
Okay. Hey, it's all good,
Yeah. It's a good area, right?
Right, this is hey, you know what I mean?
Exactly, right? We're just having a good time. It's awesome.
Right.
So I'm so sorry I didn't tell you. I didn't see you last night, that's why. But it's all good. We love to have surprise visitors on TV. It's fun.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into it. That's kind of the more logistical story. In terms of are you curious about the approach and why I'm so passionate about why I do this?
Yes.
Okay. So there's a couple of reasons. The first is that, so I told you as a fetus I was, born to go and perform, but my body had other plans for me. And I was born with heart failure and a 20% chance of living, and the whole left side of my body was structurally damaged to the point where I couldn't even walk. I had to have casts on my legs, and they would hope that my legs would grow out properly so that I could walk, let alone dance. And so
Wow.
throughout my childhood, I had multiple heart surgeries, and after the last one, because of all the cutting of bones and tissues and nerves on my chest and in my back, and plus with the structural damage on the left side throwing my posture off, I was in such horrible chronic pain until I was 29 that I couldn't even sleep through the night.
Mm.
And so and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. I worked really hard. I went to university and did a couple of degrees. I did a couple of diplomas. I got credentialed. I did everything I was supposed to do for me to be successful in my career. And I would go out and I would try to perform and I would try to audition. And I kept being turned away because my presentation style was this. Remember, I was in terrible pain. I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Cindy Ashton, and today I'm going to sing for you. I got rhythm." And I was pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's because I was pushing through pain. And
Right.
it was so devastating to me that I was getting very little work, and people who hadn't trained and didn't have my credentials were getting way more work than I was, and it was heartbreaking to me. And so when I did my degree, I had actually done a double major, operatic training, like music, opera, and kinesiology, and my specialization was relaxation therapy. So I started to say, well, maybe I need to learn how to use my relaxation therapy, specialization on myself so that I could learn to present myself persuasively no matter what situation I'm in. Because, for me, it was chronic illness. It was my body that was holding me back of showing up as my best self. For other people, it might be that they're a single mom and they're trying to, take care of 3 kids while running their business, and they're showing up at meetings as like all frazzled and harried. For other people, it might be that they're dealing with an aging parent and they're running around after that and they're exhausted, and so they show up like they're exhausting. Or maybe somebody is grieving and they're showing up and they look, drained, and they look like they're negative. Everybody has something. And so the whole speaker training thing, when I talk about we're not robots, most speaking training is about stand here, sit up straight, which makes your voice sound louder and unnatural, give me a big smile, and gesture. And read the script that you memorized. And I'm like, ew, can I just throw up right now? Like, let me just puke. So the thing is that what I understand from my own life, and scientifically, so this is my own life story, but also I'm going to have a science degree. What I know is that the stress that we carry in our body and what we're dealing with in our everyday life affects how we present ourselves far more than trying to do some canned posing and gesturing. So you might stand nice and straight, you might do a big smile and pose, but if you have stress in your chest, your voice sounds like this and it's aggressive. Or if you have rounded shoulders, your voice sounds like this and it sounds very insecure and not very confident. So the work that I do is really, I say, for very brave and courageous people, because I'm asking you to go deeper in your body. I'm asking you to get in touch with your body. We do a lot of body work. But this is why I'm so passionate about it, because I know how painful that is to work so hard and not get results. And I see so many of my entrepreneurs and business professionals and speakers working really hard and they're not getting results, and they're like, but my marketing is good, and I don't know why I'm not getting results. And it's often because of how they present themselves. So for example, I had a client about 1.5 years ago she came to me for a consult, and I looked at her website, and I'm like, her website has clear messaging, it has clear call to actions, she has an excellent intake form for consultations. I said, it looks all good, why aren't you converting? Now, the minute I heard her voice, I knew why she wasn't converting. And, she's one of these girls that she talks on her vocal cords. So she's talking in her consultations like this. So she was doing everything right, but this doesn't sound very compelling. It doesn't sound very, it sounds very insecure. So we did like 5 half-hour sessions. We made her voice sound bright and open. She went so she went in her consults from converting 4% on the phone to converting 40% on the phone.
Wow.
Changed her voice. So I have a ton of stories like that, but for me, it's so heartbreaking to see people who are really credentialed and working hard and not getting results simply because they don't know how to walk into a room. They don't know how to take their brilliance and bring it down to real world. One of the things that I see is life coaches. I love you, and you guys are so esoteric. It's like I had one person say to me, oh yes, I heal people. And I'm like, well, how do you heal people? Well, I take them to the 7th dimension. And I'm like, oh, honey, you're never going to sell anything saying that. Like, what the hell is the 7th dimension, right?
I know.
So,
You know what the funniest part is, though, to me? I know a couple of them exactly like that. Like you just said. I used to be in BNI meetings with them.
bless them. Listen, I'm sure they do amazing work. But life coaches are notorious for being extremely unclear on communicating to people in real world. How is this affecting the real world? So, I had a client 2.5 years ago, and she said, "Oh, I'm very clear. I help people to declutter their office." And I'm like, "That doesn't tell me anything." That's clear. I clean up their messes, and I said, "It's still not clear to me." And she's like, "What?" I said, "How does this affect the real world?" And now she says, "I help entrepreneurs with messy desks to organize their leads so they can follow up and make more money." Now that's real world, right?
Yeah, that's a lot better.
It is.
That's very clearly communicated.
Now I know what she does, and I can tell you that anybody that she networks with is either going to have a messy desk, or they have issues with organizing their leads, or they have problems with following up. 90% of people have an issue with one, two, or all three of those things. All of a sudden, it starts a conversation. So for me, it's just I'm so tired of seeing brilliant people not get work because they can't message themselves and they can't walk into a room and know how to present themselves. It drives me crazy.
You touched on a real subject because I think most people, and I'm just talking about like the guys that is a part of our group right now, especially when it's time they've got that accepted invitation to come and present themselves to whatever offer they're trying to, get out there. And as soon as the spotlight shines, it's like all the things that carried on like last week, they're thinking, oh, I have bills that need to be paid. I've got to get this now. And there's like, da 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 da. And then the people are going,
the whole audience.
It's right. Get the heck out of the way,
Right. And listen, there's nothing wrong with being a fast talker. You're a fast talker. I'm a fast talker. But there's a difference when you're grounded in that versus you're just like, okay, so today we're going to,
Right.
Sorry.
Right.
Spit at you.
Sorry. You can't hit me. You can spit at me all day long, baby. You can't hit me.
That's funny.
That is awesome. So let's talk real quick on how you teach people to overcome stage fright. Because once again, a lot of that happens when people are nervous. They've never been in front of a crowd, or they walk into that boardroom where they're only expecting maybe 2 people, and they see there's a whole board sitting there, and they're like, "Oh, how do you get your people to overcome that?"
Yeah. So there's a couple of things. The first is that part of the reason why people are so darn nervous is that they don't have their message and what they're going to say in their body. They might have written out some points, but you need to be, I don't believe in scripts, but I do believe in being highly structured and knowing exactly what you're going to say, not word for word, but know the message and what you're going to deliver. Because again, the minute you're in a script is the minute you become a robot, and this is not robot training, people.
Bingo.
I'm anti-robot. I like real human beings. So the first thing is a lot of people are not clear on their message. They don't know how to make it real world. And again, I'm a former educational consultant, twice published nationally. So a lot of people are not taught how to deliver content. So part of it is that they don't know how to bring that content and make it real world. They don't know how to deliver it to be able to speak to all 9 types of learners in the room. But beyond that, once they do have that message down and the structure and the flow of what they're going to say, most people don't know how to rehearse it so that it's in their body like walking. So depending on the type of learner you are, it's about learning to get it that it is like walking. So for example, kinesthetic people, I'm going to stand up and demonstrate. I still have my pajama bottoms on.
I'm about to say, you better watch it, girl.
Yeah, just move this a little bit, right? Okay, you might not be able to see my pajama bottoms, but let's look at this. Okay. Okay, so the first thing is if you are like a kinesthetic learner, you want to practice moving so that it gets in your cells. So you'll be like, okay, everybody, and here we go. Today we're going to talk about blah, blah, blah. So you would actually move and you would work through it. Like this is for kinesthetic learners, people who like to move a lot, and people who are musical learners. You want to do it with a rhythm and walk and move it in your body because then it will integrate in your body. Right. I'm not going to go through all 9 types of learners because we'll be here for 5 hours. But, for example, somebody who is an intrapersonal learner, which is somebody who goes within and meditates, and if they happen to have the visual learner component, meditating and just breathing it in and visualizing it in their mind and going through their mind is definitely a way to do it. If they don't necessarily have the visual component, They're lying on their back and breathing in their belly and going really slow and breathing in the line. So once upon a time, there was a dog. And the dog's name was Brandy. And it seems like you never do these techniques in front of people because they'll think you're a nutcase. But those are a couple of things you can do, but it's about getting it in your body. If you're an interpersonal learner, like the two of you are, especially you, Len, you're an interpersonal learner for sure, I can tell.
Love it.
Yeah, interpersonal learners, you should be talking, you should get 2 or 3 of your friends and talk it through with them, do it for them so that you can get the interaction, you can feel the energy. Right. So those are a few ways. So the first step is you got to be crystal clear on your structure and your message. And the second step is that you really want to get it in your body and have it rehearsed. I don't know why we realize that dancers rehearse, singers rehearse, athletes rehearse. Why are we not rehearsing as speakers? It's the weirdest thing. Even as business people, you need to visualize it. You need to rehearse it. And then the third thing is in terms of the actual physical body. So that's going to relieve your mind because you're not going to be as nervous if it's in your body and it's not stuck in your mind.
You know,
right?
that's true. But just the other day, I was telling a real good friend of mine that he was about to go into a business meeting and he had like 3 days. And I said, dude, I don't know if you know this, but I rehearse everything I do before I go into the office. I always have the worst scenario in my head, and I don't care if it's 50 people in there. I will rehearse my session. I will record it and listen to it when I'm showering or bathing, and then I'll go back and change it. But when I do get there, it's not going to be the same, but I'm comfortable with what I'm saying because I already know what I'm going to say, and it's easy, you know?
So you just told me that you're a musical learner.
Oh, background a lot of music. My mother used to be the director and the choir. I used to sing, dance. I used to do it, you know. I used to do it all. My children the same way, yes.
But yeah, because what he learns through listening, which tends to be more of a musical trait, is being able to listen. Right, so that's another way. So that's perfect. After that, so the mental stress is gone. Right, because you already know this, and then you're not sitting there thinking all night. The third thing you want to do is be able to, when you have those actual nerves, so let's talk about the physical part of it. There's a couple of techniques that I use, and again, it depends on the person, it depends on what type of learner they are. But when you exhale longer than your inhale, so you take breath in, and exhale nice and long. And I can exhale for a very long time because I'm an opera singer and have good lung capacity, so I'm not going to do this for 30 seconds. But you exhale nice and long and exhale the air down into the ground. Now, it doesn't have to be as loud as I'm doing. I'm just demonstrating. You don't want to be going, you know, before you go on stage. But it's about exhaling nice and easy, long, long, long. When you exhale longer than your inhale, you stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, which means that your heart rate slows down, your muscles relax, your mind focuses. So that's one of the things you could do, is just continue to breathe and ground into your feet, breathe and exhale nice and long. So for some people, that really works. The second technique I do is something called a sensory trigger. This is from my acting background. When you're watching an actor on screen or on stage, you're either like completely riveted and they're completely believable, and you're like, and you're with them, or you're like, geez, this guy is like, what a bad actor, right? They're fake acting, right? Like, I'm going to be happy now. It's that fake acting thing. The people who are real actors, the ones who are so believable, like you look at, you know, some of these actors and it's like I look at Johnny Depp. He plays the most outrageous characters and he's so believable, right?
Right.
People who are really believable, they're not trying to be fake happy. They're not trying to be fake sad or fake angry. You know, they're not faking that stuff. I nearly swore, sorry. It's in New York lately. Since I moved to New York, I have like time mouth. It's terrible. I moved to New York a year and a half ago, and I was like totally clean with my language, and now it's like, okay.
If it blurts out, you won't be the first person who's ever cussed on our show. Trust me.
And hitting each other's cars, and I'm like, oh my word. So I have to watch my language because you pick it up, you're in it like every day. So I'm like, it's gonna be bad. So anyway, so we call these things sensory triggers. So in a nutshell, what I work with my clients on is finding an emotional trigger that will trigger them into happiness or whatever feeling that they want to feel. So it's something that's naturally coming from them, and it's not something they're putting on. So, for example, my client in Switzerland, she is like, whenever she picks up the phone, she's like nervous wreck, right?
Right.
So when she picks up the phone now, before she'll dial the phone, and before she presses send, we'll have her do, for her, she's a visual person. So again, it goes back to getting a trigger that's according to your learning style. So so what I have her do is visualize. So I said to her, what's a moment in your life that you remember that was absolutely the most endearing, hilarious moment of your life? And then she told me this whole story of how she was looking for her daughter, and she's like, where are you, Jackie? Where are you, Jackie? And she opens up the closet door, and Jackie jumps out, her little 4-year-old, and goes, ta-da, hello, money. And she has like all this chocolate on her face. So when my client in Switzerland goes to get on the phone, she'll just hold on to the phone, and she'll just think of that moment, and she'll press send, and she'll be laughing, and she's like, hi, it's oh, I nearly said her name, sorry, confidentiality. Hi, it's Bozo the Clown, you know, but she's so busy being in her joy and her laughing that she doesn't have she's not thinking, it's taken her out of her nervousness because she's been triggered into another emotion. So I find that my clients, when they get the right trigger, so for some people it's musical. Len, for you, it's musical for sure. Like if you ever get nervous, you gotta like jam to some music, listen to some music, and it will
Oh my God, Bill, are you listening to this?
I am.
We have actually video footage of I'm training people how to make phone calls and what I do, and I have music in the background going, and I'm on the phone, and they're watching this, and they can hear me and see me with the music comes on, and I'm like ready. Oh my gosh.
That is intense. Like seriously, this is intense. Like I'm learning so much. I'm writing down notes because I'm like, this is cool. You know what I mean? Because
thank you.
I like to learn. I mean, that's part of me. So I mean, any of this stuff.
Learning should be fun.
Wow.
Well,
I can't believe you just said that, Cindy.
Well, Cindy, you gotta understand.
Remember, I read people for a living, right?
What?
Remember, I read people for a living.
Yeah, good point.
But you know, it's a little bit of a problem when I go on dates.
Oh, jeez.
Because, you know, I can hear, because in people's voices I can tell a lot. I can tell a lot about their childhood. I can tell a lot about what stress they're going through. Like, I've been doing this for over 15 years. Like, I can tell what someone's life has been like based on what their speaking voice is like. I can tell a lot about them. And I can see a lot in their body language of where they're holding their stress and what, like, I've been doing this for 15 years. And then, so it's a bit of an issue because I'm like, oh, this person was abused as a child. I can just tell based on, you know, or this person was, so I know all their stuff ahead of time. It's terrible. It's horrible. It's like, stop it. Turn it off. Turn it off. Just
yeah, I was about to say, you got to start turning that off.
I know. So I have a friend setting me up on a blind date this week with a doctor, which should be interesting because I miss holistic everything Chinese medicine. This should be an interesting dinner. So you can give people drugs for a living. Well, I took my herbal thing this morning. But yeah, I'm going to see if I could turn it off when I go on a date with this guy. So I have to turn it off because, you know, it's, yeah.
So before we get too far, because I'm curious, and I'm sure every person out there is, I already saw my Facebook is blowing up with, like, comments on what's going on right now, okay? So you said you published a couple books. What were the books called so everybody can find them?
I haven't published any. I did, but I'm nationally published in Canada in teacher resource guides. Like I helped. Canada. So yes, and I did have a book, but I pulled it off the shelves because I feel like I'm so much more evolved now that I have another book coming to me that's, you know, I'm evolved now. I'm brighter with age. I'm turning 40 this year. Big party in New York City, people.
Cool.
40. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sorry. So I can't publicize them because they're curriculum guides for teachers, and I don't own the rights to them. It was, you know, when I was a consultant,
So there'll be eventually a new book then?
There will be eventually a new book, but right now I'm busy.
That sounds good.
All that stuff. But yeah, I need to write, because people find this stuff really fascinating. People are like, can you write like a book on voices and how they sound? And I don't know how I would write a book on that. It's you know, and what they mean, and I'm like, I could. I don't know how you would explain that because I just hear it, but it's okay.
You know, just last week, I think I did a video for the group on. I was telling how getting that client. Basically, we do a lot of getting client sessions, but it's all about them liking you and knowing you and trust you. But I
Right.
didn't realize until now you have to have that voice where you're confident about what you're saying, and even if they don't do business with you right now, they feel comfortable enough to hear you on later because you have impacted them with your presence. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I totally get that now. Wow.
Yeah, that's the thing is people first impressions are everything. And people will unfortunately we're all judgmental. Let's just own it. We're all judgmental. We all make snap judgments. We see people, we feel their energy, and we're very intuitive beings. We meet somebody and we get that feeling about them. Yeah, and you just don't know. And so, and I've made a rule that I won't if I'm really in a bad space, I'm not going to go out unless I can really shift it. I don't want to go out and make a bad impression. um, if I really can't shift it, I just won't do it. It's just, but yeah, you're right. I mean, first impressions are everything, and it's really important that you make good first impressions, and that's why the work I do is so important, so that we can get you in your best self whenever possible. Because even like you said, if somebody doesn't work with you, they might refer you, they might remember you. I mean,
Yep.
I was in Arizona. Arizona, I don't have a fan base in Arizona. At least I don't think I do. Um, I've never really been in Arizona, but I went there for a conference, and I swear that at least 25 or 30 people came up to me and said, "Oh my gosh, I heard you speak at da da da, da, and you were amazing, and you changed my life." And I'm like, "Who are you?" I had no idea. I mean, there was even somebody from my performing side of my career who came up and said, "Oh yeah, I saw you up in Toronto playing Miss Hannigan and Annie. You were so evil. It was wonderful." I'm like,
Nice.
"Thank you."
So evil.
But people remember you for better or worse, and or they might not remember you. But in my case, most of the time when I walk in a room, a lot of people in the room know who I am, and it's just because I'm making such a good first impression most of the time. I have my off days, but that's what you want to do is you want to be able to get that buzz factor. And I don't believe that you have to be charismatic. Actually, I think a lot of people say to me, "Well, it's because you're charismatic," and
Right.
yes, I'm charismatic. But I actually think that I think that introverts actually, in a lot of ways, have an edge on charismatic people.
Right.
And here's why. Because Len, you're charismatic too. What was your question? And then I'll tell you why.
Well, it's a whole different question, but okay. I was going to give you a scenario because sometimes life happens, and this was
Right.
let's just say I just got back from a funeral from my best friend for 6 years. My dog just got ran over, and I have to deliver a presentation
That sounds
tomorrow.
like a country song.
Yeah, I know, right?
My dog died by the river.
My best
Yeah.
friend is dead. Okay, anyway, how do I go deliver a presentation tomorrow? And it has to be tomorrow, do or nothing.
Right.
After you get in that,
And I have been in those situations. So part of it is, again, you never ever want to be fake. You never ever want to be fake. Um, and it's okay not to bring your A game. Your A game for that situation may be it's your B game, and that's okay. So it's about having a routine. Everybody should have a routine that works for them. So, like I said, like my client in Switzerland, her routine is, the breathing stuff doesn't work for her, but the sensory trigger stuff works for her, and stretching and moving beforehand. For some people, it's meditating beforehand. You need to have a routine. So, once you have that routine, you know that routine is solid, then you're able to go in, and you may not be on your A game, but you can still be pretty persuasive and you can still be grounded. But it's about learning to be in your body. It's learning how to acknowledge your feelings. It's learning how to have a routine. So I have a client out in Houston who his whole routine is he goes in the back room and he does this whole visualization of, he wants to feel powerful, right? He's an introvert, so it takes a little more for him to present. So he wants to really feel powerful. For him, it's not about feeling joyful or happy. It's feeling powerful. So he'll literally in the back room, open the door to his house, walk in, see his grand staircase, and go, yes. And he really feels his power. Once he does that little 2-minute thing, he walks into a room with so much more confidence. It's crazy. It's crazy how much more confidence he has.
that's funny because that reminds me. I used to be a gymnastics coach, and
Really?
Yes. Yeah. And when I had, like, Wednesdays were the worst days because it was daycare day. And it's like all the kids from daycare had a different demeanor. They were just ornery. And I would have to go in the bathroom, and the first thing I would have to do is go, yes, great job, Timmy. Yes, good job, Susie. All right, high five. And I had to do that, and I then look at myself in the mirror and smile. Then I would go out.
Right. Exactly. You have a routine, and that's the thing is that, and it all comes down to is being disciplined, having a routine, knowing who you are. Once you've got that down, even when you have, like, I can tell you in fall, like I said, I was traveling like crazy. I was sick the whole time. So on the first day of my touring, because I had months of it, I got bronchitis. And you know, when you're hopping plane to plane every 3 to 4 days or every week, it is, and you're that sick, it is impossible to get better. I had to put on my game face, and people are like, I can't believe you're that sick, and that was exceptional. I can't even imagine what you would be like when you're healthy. And I'm like, I know, right? You know, and I had my Chinese doctor. I even gave in and took my medical doctor and took the drugs. But you can be persuasive and you can be your best self and you can be influential even when you're having crap happening. But it's about knowing yourself so deeply and having a routine and being disciplined to implement it.
Awesome. So I want to dig deep in this. What are the biggest mistakes people do when they're networking? Because a lot of us do a lot of networking to gain more business. So could you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So there's a few things. The first is the shoving of the card. Hi, I'm Cindy Ashton. Here's my card. We should connect. What do you need a speaker trainer. Really? I'm gonna give you it's like, what is this? I don't know what it is. I work with a lot of real estate people, and I'm like, and I call them out. They love me or hate me. And I'm like, you guys are the worst for this. You walk in, you shove cards, you rattle off your 25 years and 5 reports. I said, stop doing that. I said, I'm going to tell you how to connect authentically, and if that's not cool, you can leave right now. And I always have 2 or 3 that leave.
Wow.
I just put people to the pedal. So that's the first thing. The second thing is unsolicited advice. Drives me crazy. So, I can help you with that. Like, for example, right, because I've lived with heart illness my whole life. I've had heart problems, right? The ignorance of people. People are like, when they hear my story or something, or they see my scar, they'll say, oh, I have this amazing berry jerry juice that's going to help you to heal your heart problems. Did I ask you? Did you ask? All right, so first of all,
that is so funny. I'm just laughing because I'm seeing every story go by right now.
So first of all, when you encounter somebody, you need to be asking questions for several reasons. First of all, take a genuine interest in another human being. Don't think about don't go in there looking for the money. Go in there looking to genuinely connect. You never know. I've genuinely connected with people who are flat broke, will never be my client, and they have referred me, and I've given them nice commission checks. I just think you need to be of service, and you need to be asking questions and get to know people. And the thing is, when you ask questions, let's say that I'm asking questions of you, Len,
right?
And I have an inkling that you might be the ideal client for me. I'm not going to just go pitch you. I'm going to continue to ask questions of, where are you at with your career? What do you need next in your career? How do you feel about your presenting? Are you feeling confident in it? Awesome. Do you need any help with that? Don't just barrel in. So these people should be asking me questions like, what have you, do you feel like what are you doing for your health? Are you happy about about the actions you're taking? And do you feel like you need more help? Then I'd be able to say, you know what, I have a whole team taking care of me. We're good to go. Thank you very much for asking. And then I don't have to deal with it. You need to buy my very, 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 very juice.
Like that massage you were having and that scrub brush she was trying to sell you on.
A $45 scrub brush. By the way, with much persistence, I put them to the pedal and I got my money back. And it wasn't about, $200, $230 is a lot of money, but it was partially a lot of money that I had spent to get a sales pitch. But it was, so for those who don't know, I was in the Caribbean last month. I was on the cruise. I got a massage, and she was giving me a sales pitch every moment. She's like, now I'm going to use this oil. We're going to add this to your bill because it's going to help you do, this alkaline will help your skin and da-da-da. And I'm like, oh my word.
Really?
So she was like brutal. I was so shocked I didn't know how to respond in the moment. My New Yorker didn't come in because I was so shocked. I've never had somebody give me a sales pitch throughout a massage.
No,
so I complained at the desk, and they're like, they got her in trouble. And I said, I don't think she's a problem because I don't think you're paying her enough and you're forcing her to sell or you're training her this way. This is Norwegian Cruise Lines. You guys are impeccable with your training. She's not the problem. So they got her in trouble, and I'm like, they didn't hear me. So I'm a stickler for good customer service. So I was like, I could let go of the 230 or else I could see this through. So then I called them, and then I had to file a complaint. They never got back to me. I called them again. They finally responded. They gave me a canned response and said it was that they outsourced their spa services. They never dealt with the problem. I'm like, okay, now you're pissing me off even more. So it wasn't about the money after a while because it's substantial, but after a while it wasn't about the money. It became about, I'm going to teach you people how to have better customer service. So I responded and I said, you know what, you didn't own it. You gave me a canned response. You said I was disappointed as opposed to really reading what I had to say, and you passed me off on another agency without taking responsibility. You're the one that hired that agency. You should be very upset that your agency is doing this. You should be taking responsibility. And furthermore, here's a link to my video on my blog ripping you apart. I expect this to Guess who has her refund?
That's funny you say that because after I watched that the other day, last night, we went out to eat at a place called The Border or On the Border or something like that, and this lovely waitress, she went out and beyond. I mean, she gave us our food, and our son, we didn't want him to have like we wanted to have a child plate nachos, and she felt so bad because at the time they didn't have it. So she just gave him the lunch menu price and then offered us free sopapillas, and I'm like, wow. And the bill wasn't that much, and so I was like, you know what? She's earned my service today. I will come back here because of her. You know what I mean? Because of that one lady. Now, I will look for her too. I'm like, hey, I want her because she's good. But yeah, it's all about customer service, and she didn't upsell us on anything. Everything was awesome. Like you wanted to buy stuff from her because the way she acted.
People are so busy selling, and I tell people stop selling. And it's about delivering great value. I've got my Speak Impact Monetize conference coming up in Los Angeles in less than 2 weeks. Y'all got to come. It's red carpet, world-class entertainment, fun, and a lot of learning. As you can see, I'm all about content. But here's the deal. We did it in Toronto, and we're doing it again in LA. And I would have Raven, my communications maven, call people. As ticket sales come in, she's calling people, and people are like, I actually got a phone call. She's like, hey, we're so excited that you're coming. We're so honored that you're coming. Do you have any food allergies? Do you have any disabilities? Is there anything that we need to know, to make your experience really great? Why are you coming to this event? How can we serve you? People were completely blown away when we had the Toronto event. People came up to me and they said, I was already excited to come to your conference, but getting a personal phone call like that and somebody actually caring that, and I had one guy in a wheelchair. And I had people with allergies, and people were so honored that they were taken care of. And you know what? I didn't really even do a sales pitch. Like I said, hey, I've got room for 6 more clients. Here's what the package looks like. Talk to me if you think it might be a good fit. I did not do the usual, sales pitch of today it's $10,000, but today only it's $200. I don't do any of that crap because, in my opinion, if you deliver great value and you deeply connect with people, and you give them a great experience, they're going to want to buy from you. So I literally just sat on a table. I didn't even do a formal presentation. I sat on a table and I said, I'm glad you guys are, here's what I can offer next for those of you who feel like you want to go next. Let's see. And I can tell you that I made $40,000 off of 30 people in that room. And I didn't even try to sell. I just said, this is a package. Talk to me if it might be right for you. And I actually turned away some people that wanted to buy from me because they weren't the right fit. And the people were like, she really is not about making money. And yes, I need to make money. I have, a whole team of like 5 of us that I have to pay. And yes, I need to make money, but I'm not going to focus on making money. I'm going to focus on delivering value and customer service. And a lot of people don't trust themselves to do that. So instead, they go for the sale, they go for the sale, they go for the sale, and they end up becoming slime balls, and they don't mean to be, and then they feel guilty and they feel shame. But if you know how to deliver value, you know how to deliver experience and great customer service, people are going to buy from you. You don't have to oversell, period.
Right. We figured that out. Bill and I are very when it comes to delivering value and being top notch, that is one thing that we promise to do when it comes to our group. I mean, I know there's a lot of people in our market who don't really answer PMs or answer questions because they're just, oh, just buy my stuff and they're gone with you. But with us, we try to go far and beyond to help our people because I've been there. I've needed that answer before. I wanted that answer, and I've had questions that have never been answered. I'm like, really? You know, so I totally get it. Real quick.
Yes. I'm waking up. Do you know? So I'm waking up.
You are. You're doing good. Real quick.
Good. Although I might take this after this. Yes, real quick. Go.
You said you met Cindy Crawford. Now, here's the question I want to ask you.
I didn't meet her. I just saw her.
You saw her? Is she as beautiful on TV in person? Is she the same? Really?
Yeah. I mean, I literally just walked past her. It was a celebrity sighting. So, so she is gorgeous. I mean, she is beautiful. And I didn't want to say anything because, you know, I didn't want to say, oh, you're Cindy Crawford. Hello. She's a beautiful person. She's got a beautiful presence, and she's just as beautiful as a person. Yeah.
I would have said, hey, young lady, I think you're familiar, but my name is Lynn Moore, and I'm from Dallas, Texas. How are you? That'd have been it. Just to see if I get a response out of her.
You're so yeah, she was arm in arms with one of her girlfriends. It was sweet.
Oh, I see. That's awesome. Bill, you have any questions?
Yeah. Anyways.
This has been really fun. It's been really fun. I'm writing down stuff, and no, it's good. I think it's really cool. I'm excited. Actually, two things.
Oh my God, Cindy! He never says anything on here. You really got his interest. Wow.
Sometimes I have questions. Sometimes I don't. You know. Sometimes I just let it roll. Do you want to say your website for people so that way they can go check it out?
Sure. SpeakImpactMonetize.com, and we do have the LA conference coming up in less than 2 weeks. So. And we're almost sold out of the VIP tickets because I'm bringing in an Emmy award-winning comedian to do comedy for everybody for the VIPs. We only have 8 tickets left for the VIPs, but regular tickets, there's still a few left of those as well. So come. It's going to be awesome. Red carpet, lots of learning, lots of connecting, no business cards being shoved in hands.
No business cards.
No, but it's about being your best self. It's, you know, I kind of tell people, do you dare? Because my work really stretches people. You know, I loved what Len said at the beginning about you have to be uncomfortable. And I always say that it takes unconventional actions to achieve extraordinary results. And I really say that my ideal client is somebody who has a DNA to be the best in their field and really wants to be the best in their field. And even though they want to be the best in their field and they're fierce and they're focused and they're disciplined and they get stuff done, they have really big hearts and they're such good people and they give back to the world. But I really only want people at my conference who are willing to connect deeply, be willing to stretch themselves, you know, be revolutionary and make a difference and go within themselves to be their best self and not do the posed crap, which it is.
That's really awesome. I want to go. I wish I would have known it farther ahead.
We're doing it in New York, actually. Okay, so you can come to the New York one.
When?
October 16th to the 19th.
Oh, I gotta wait like 9 months.
I'm sorry, I know. And the New York one, because I have to tell you, the New York one, it's much more expensive to produce an event in New York. So the pricing is going to be like double for New York, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth every penny. But yeah,
I just don't like waiting.
Awesome.
Now you're I might look at plane tickets.
What?
I might look at plane tickets for LA now. I don't like to wait that long.
I know. Well, come. You know what? Plane tickets are pretty cheap. I just booked my assistant from New York, and I think that her plane ticket was like $100 or something each way.
What? Really?
Yeah, I just booked my assistant from New York City.
Oh, man.
I think it was around that. But yeah, you should totally come, and I'll give you a coupon code.
Okay. Let me look up and see.
Should I give everybody a coupon code? Should I be?
Yeah.
Should I be
Absolutely. Here, I'll write it down and then we'll put it in the chat.
All right, so SpeakImpactMonetize.com. and then you use the coupon code Cindy50. Cindy50, and you'll get $50 off. Super easy. Cindy50. Okay, so what questions do we have? And I see that our lovely Rebecca has joined us.
Come on, Rebecca. Speak on, baby girl.
That's funny. Rebecca's funny.
I hear you. Is your microphone working, sweetie? Or are you just being shy?
No,
we can't hear you. Your mic is not working. What happened?
Oh, is she doing Q&A? Do we have questions that's coming in?
No, I don't see her. No, she's kind of... Can't hear you. Can't hear you. No English. Can't hear you. Try to log back out and in and see what happens. What was I gonna? I was gonna ask you something else.
All right. So
Rebecca threw me out. So what is your take on your? You have like, what is the big no-no on social media? Because a lot of your guys use social media, and how do you figure out to attract Raven fans?
Great question. So what I love about social media is that it's social and we're there to connect. What I hate about social media is that people are constantly pitching. I can't even tell you how many times somebody adds me as a friend and they post on my wall saying, "Great to meet you. I have this revolutionary weight loss thing." And I'm like, 120 pounds. I'll weigh 120 pounds if you're pitching me on weight loss? Like, have you even looked at my picture? Have you looked at my videos? I don't know what it is. People just start pitching. So here's what you should do, is you should take genuine interest. This is like anything. Deliver value. So you'll see, like when you go into my group, some days I'll post a blog, I'll post a tip, I'll ask engaging questions. We all have ego. We all want to have an opinion. Ask people questions because, first of all, it gets them giving their opinion, makes them feel good, but it also gives you market research. When I ask people's opinion, I get really great market research of what the pulse is on my market and what they need next. So ask a lot of engaging questions, do fun little contests, fun little quizzes, give little great tips and ask people to share their thoughts. And then occasionally say, by the way, I've got Speak Impact Monetize coming up, or I've got this great berry juice, or, but whatever it is, you want to be engaging people and getting into conversation because that's where the magic happens, and that's when you get raving fans, and that's when people feel like they're cared for and their voice is heard. So it's really about mixing it up. And then, of course, you can slide in your promotional stuff in there, but it can't be all about come to my event, buy my ticket, buy my product, buy my berry juice. There's got to be that interaction. I'm so glad you're laughing. As you can imagine, my conferences last the entire week.
Oh man, we would have a blast then. We would have a blast.
Oh my god, it was so fun if you guys could come. We're gonna have so much fun.
What weekend is it?
The Toronto one was off the charts. People said it was the best conference they've ever been to, and I love ending my conferences every day at 5 or 6 o'clock because everyone wants to chat. And I'm telling you, people were in the bars until midnight interacting, and they were taking the workbook, and they were like, "What did you get for your story? And what can I practice my story on you?" And I mean, it was really cool, the learning that happened. And I mean, from what I've heard, practically everybody in that room made a relevant connection and made money from somebody. Somebody got business from somebody. I mean, it was awesome. But again, I set it up that we're not here to pitch, we're here to connect, really listen and really connect. And we're doing marketing and speaking, so everybody gets to practice their skills on each other. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it.
Wow. Well, Rebecca's not going to be able to speak because her microphone is not working, and normally this happens a lot. We brought her on yesterday, but she was able to talk just fine, and today her computer says no. So, oh well.
It's all that bad weather up in Ottawa.
It's got to be.
Cold weather.
It's got to be. It's got to be. But she speaks very highly of you, and we kind of was talking the other day, and she's like, you got to get Cindy on. She's a ball of fire. I'm like, wow, she is. I love it.
Thank you. It's fun.
Wow. I don't have any more questions because you have just done a lot, and thank you for the value you've given all our group. I'm sure they're going to love this. They're going to watch the replay. They're going to go check it out. And by the way, guys who are watching, you can go back to SaturdayCupOfJoe.com/live on the live page, and you can watch the replay of Miss Cindy Ashton. Wow, you are incredible.
Oh, thank you. I love what I do. I love life. I told you at the beginning, I'm a firecracker. I'm sexy. I'm sassy. I'm, big passion. I love this. I love people. I love people, and I love seeing people really, no, seriously, I really want to see people be their best selves.
Right.
I know that we can't hold back anymore. Our world needs us, really.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we're a part in time right now in the world that we've got to do something different, like right now. I mean,
Right
I
now.
try our best to reach out and get with people who just they have the chance to do things, but they just don't have that extra kick. And I'm right there ready to kick them and say, here you go. Let's do this,
Yeah.
And you seem like that you are putting a lot of great mind frames together for people. You're putting a lot of hope in their hearts. And, I mean, right now, normally on a Saturday Cup of Joe, I'm like up, but now I'm like, wow, I'm ready to start this day.
Awesome. Good. Like, go crush it. Go and have an amazing day.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, once again, let's tell everyone how they can get a hold of you again, Cindy.
Yeah, if you go to speakimpactmonetize.com, and if you decide to join us, 50 or Cindy50 is a coupon code. Other ways to get through to me, hello@speakimpactmonetize.com, hello@speakimpactmonetize.com, or 888-443-5102.
Get it, girl. So let me hear a little song real quick before we end this. Just give me something.
Well, since I am in California and the weather is significantly better than New York, summertime and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, everybody snapping, and the cotton is high. Whoa, your daddy's rich and your mama good looking. Oh, hush, little baby, don't you cry.
I love it. I love it. Well, you're so awesome. I'm so blessed to be a part of your life right now. Wow, that is awesome.
Bill and Rebecca, like, you guys are so much fun. I wish all my interviews were so fun.
I know.
Right?
She knew that this would be an awesome. She does so well. She's my right-hand lady. I love it, and I just love her to death. And so she does great things. I love Rebecca Happy. I think that last name was meant to be because, it's just something about her.
I know. She's so precious. We love you, Rebecca.
All right, for those out there, thank you for joining us. Hey, check out the replay, like I said, on the live page. She'll have that up soon. Guys, if you have any more questions for us, let us know. Cindy, you and I need to continue to connect.
Right.
Hopefully we can get to New York and see you and one of your events. Bill is probably having issues right now.
No, I'm here. Can you hear me or no?
Yeah, but it looked like I could see the floor, but it's okay.
How about now?
I can't see you. I just see the floor. But anyhow, this is coming to an end. Thank you guys for joining us this morning. Once again, Cindy, I know it was very early, but thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Len. You guys are awesome. Thank you for everything. And thank you for everybody listening.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to talk to you guys next week, and have a blessed day, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, Cindy.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.